Good morning student, welcome to the physics class. In this session we will discuss the chapter number 7 of class 12, and this is related to the magnetic effect of current and magnetism, and the name of the chapter is moving charges and magnetism. We will discuss the whole chapter into two parts, and in this session we will discuss only few topics in the part number 1. So students, start. First of all, we will discuss here simply the concept of magnetic field. As you know that students, when we take a magnet, then there is a field around the magnet take place where we can feel the magnetic field. That means if we take a magnetic material near the magnetic substance like magnet, then these substances are simply attracted towards the magnet, and this will happen due to the magnetic field. Okay, now there is an experiment which is done by a scientist which his name was Oersted experiment. Oersted was a scientist who discovered the strength of magnetic field due to a current. So he performed an experiment. He take a wire AB, and this wire is connected to a battery and key. When key is open, that means there is no current is flowing in the wire. In this case, if we take a magnetic needle and he put towards the wire, then there is no deflection take place in the magnetic needle. It means that if current is not flowing, then there is no magnetic effect produced around the wire. But in the next case, when we touch the key, that means the circuit is closed, and when the circuit is closed, then current is flowing from the battery, and in this case the magnetic needle shows deflection, which produce and which explains that when circuit is closed, then a current is flowing in the whole circuit, and by the flowing the current, a magnetic effect produced towards the wire. That means the magnetic needles shows deflection. This is the Oersted experiment. Now student, we will discuss here magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor, and this is also known as Biot-Savart law, and this is most important according to your board syllabus as well as competitive exams. So Biot and Savart, there are two scientists which have an explanation and give a law which is known as Biot-Savart law. So according to this law, he take a wire, he take a wire of infinite length and take a small part of a wire whose length is TL, and take a point P towards the wire and find the magnetic field produced by this wire. So he observed that the magnetic field due to a small part of a wire depends on some factors. First thing, dV is directly proportional to I. That means the magnetic field produced due to the small part of a wire is directly proportional to the current flowing in that wire. Second thing, dV is directly proportional to dl, means the magnetic field due to a small part of a wire is directly proportional to the small length of a wire, which is given dl. Third thing is dV is directly proportional to sine theta on and the last and the fourth point is dV is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the point where we use a point P from the wire. So on concluding all the points, we get dV is directly proportional to I dl sine theta upon r square, and we know that when we remove any proportionality sign, we use a constant. So here we use a constant mu naught upon 4 pi. It is a proportionality constant, and in this proportionality constant there is a symbol mu naught. So this magnetic field is produced simply by a small length of a wire, and if we want to get the total magnetic field due to the whole wire, then we have to integrate this equation. So on integrating the equation, we get integral dV is equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi integral dl into r upon r cube. So students, in this equation, mu naught upon 4 pi have a particular value which is 10 to power minus 7, and mu naught is a constant known as permeability of free space, and the total value of mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to power minus 7. Okay, now student, Biot-Savart law in the terms of current density. As we know that the current density is defined as the ratio of current to the ratio of cross section area. So if we want to explain Biot-Savart law in the terms of current density, then we can use this formula: dV is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi J into R upon R cube into dV, and this is also known as vector form because here we use the vector notation. Now the unit and the dimension of mu naught, the unit will be kg meter s minus 2 a minus 3. It is the unit of mu naught, and the dimension of mu naught will be ml t minus 2 a minus 2. This is the dimension. Now student, we will discuss here the relation between permeability of free space and the permittivity of free space. As you know that the permeability of free space is generally represented by mu naught, and permittivity of free space is represented by epsilon naught. So we know that mu naught upon 4 pi is equal to 10 to power minus 7, and 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught will be equal to 9 into 10 to power 9. So on multiplying both equations, we get mu naught into epsilon naught, and finally the value of mu naught into epsilon naught is equal to 1 upon 3 into 10 to power 8 whole of square, which is the value of speed of light in vacuum. So we can write C is equal to 1 upon under root mu naught into epsilon naught. So this is the required relation between epsilon naught and mu naught. Okay students, now we will compare here Coulomb's law and Biot-Savart law. So as we know that the Coulomb's law is depend on the electric field, and Biot-Savart law is depend on the magnetic field. So due to a small point, due to the small charge, the magnetic field at any point will be dV is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi epsilon naught I dl sin theta upon r square. In the same way, due to a small charge, the electric field will be dE is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught dq upon r square. So these are the two different form and different equations, and on comparing we see that both are almost same, but their reasons are different and their values are different. Okay. Now students, we will discuss here a most important derivation, which is magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor of finite length. It means that here we have to find the magnetic field due to a finite length wire, and it is the most important derivation and generally asked in the board examination. So student, first of all we will discuss what is the diagram. So you can see in this diagram there is a wire of finite length, and take a point Q on this wire and take a small length FE, which is DL, and current I is flowing this wire. Take a point P at distance small r from point Q, where we have to find the magnetic field due to the small length FE. So we have to use Biot-Savart law. So by the Biot-Savart law, dV is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon x square, where x is the distance between point P and E. Now we can put the value of dl sin theta by using two triangles FEG and GEP. So we get dl sin theta is equal to EG or x into d phi. So the value will be dV is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I d phi upon x. Now student, from the figure, x is equal to small r upon cos phi. This value can be simply determined with the help of a Pythagoras theorem, or we can apply simply the ratio of cos theta. So dV is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I cos phi d phi upon small r. Now student, this is the magnetic field. This is the magnetic field produced due to the small portion of a long finite state wire, but we have to find the magnetic field due to the whole wire. That means we have to integrate, and on integrating we get B is equal to integral minus phi 1 to phi 2 mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r cos phi into d phi. Here mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r is a constant. That means it will be come out, and we have to integrate cos phi, and it will be sin phi. Now putting the limit, we get finally B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon small r sin phi 1 plus sin phi 2. This is the required derivation for magnetic field due to a finite length of wire. Now here some cases are arises, and by applying the cases we can find the value of magnetic field in the different conditions. So the first case is for the conductor of infinite length. If we take a conductor, that means wire which is not a finite length, it is infinite length. In this case, the angle phi 1 is equal to phi 2 will be equal to 90 degree. That means it is a straight and infinite length, so angles will be perpendicular. So in this case, the magnetic field will be B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2I upon small r, or you can say simply mu naught I upon 2 pi r. So this is the important formula which is generally used in the numerical problem. Now students, the case number 2 is if the point P at a distance small r near one end. In this case, phi 1 is equal to 90 degree, but phi 2 will be 0. And in this case, the magnetic field will be B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r. Okay students? Now, the third case is if point P lies at a perpendicular bisector of CD. That means it is just middle of a CD point, CD part. In this case, phi 1 and phi 2 both will be equal to new angle, and it is phi. In this case, first of all, we will find the value of sin phi, which is L upon under root 4 r square plus L square, and by putting the value of sin phi we get B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon L upon r into 2L upon under root 4 r square plus L square. This is the required value. Now student, we will discuss here some important laws which are generally asked in conceptual problems. For first is right hand palm rule number 1. There are two right hand palm rules. The first is right hand palm rule number 1. According to this rule, you can see in diagram, we adjust our right hand palm in such a way that the thumb point shows the direction of current in any wire or conductor, and the fingers showing at a point where we have to find the magnetic field. So if we take a perpendicular on the palm, then this perpendicular shows the direction of magnetic field at that point where we have to find the magnetic field. So this is the right hand palm rule number 1. Now student, right hand thumb rule. So right hand thumb rule says that if we hold a wire on a right hand in such a way that the point, the top point of a wire shows the direction of magnetic field in upward direction, and the fingers in circle towards the wire shows the direction of magnetic field. So student, these are the important rules. Now the Maxwell's right hand screw rule. According to Maxwell's right hand screw rule, if we hold a screw according to figure in such a way and rotate the screw, then the top point of the screw shows the direction of current, and the rotation of the screw shows the direction of magnetic field. It will be clockwise or anti-clockwise. It just depends on the rotation of magnetic field. Clear it? Okay students. Now the magnetic field at the axis of current carrying loop. This is also important derivation and generally asked in the board examination. So here we have to find the magnetic field due to a circular loop at a point. So first of all we have to take a circular loop. That means there is no material is used inside the loop, and take a small portion on the loop which is TL length, and A is the radius of a circular loop, O is the center. Take a point P at distance small x from the center, and small r is the distance from point P to the small length dl. Now we have to find the magnetic field at point P. So due to small length, the magnetic field at point P is divided into two components. First component is dB cos phi, which is just towards the angle, and dB sin phi is away from the angle. dB is the magnetic field which is just perpendicular at point P due to the small length dl. In the same way, in downward direction, dB cos phi and dA b sin phi. But here dB cos phi in the both direction, upward and downward, both will be same in the magnitude and opposite direction. That means they will be cancelled out. Then the resultant magnetic field at point P will be dB sin phi. So student, the magnetic field dB will be find out according to Biot-Savart law at point P, and it will be mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. Now sin theta is considered as a 90-degree because this is perpendicular. Then we can write here dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl upon r square. So this is the magnetic field due to a small length, but here we have to find the magnetic field due to the whole length. That means we have to integrate. So B is equal to integral dB sin phi. On integrating and putting the value of dB, we get integral mu naught upon 4 pi I a upon r cube dl. Here mu naught upon 4 pi I a upon r cube is a constant, so it will be come out, and we have to integrate only dl. But dl is the circumference of a loop, and it will be 2 pi r. R is the radius, but here we use radius as a. So putting the value of dl, and small r will be a square plus x square under root by the Pythagoras theorem. So on putting these two values, we get B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi I a square upon a square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. So this is the magnetic field for only one turn, but the loop can be have number of turns. So if it have a number of turns, that means n, then multiplied by n, and finally we get the value B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi and I a square upon 2 a square plus x square whole 3 by 2. Okay student, so this is the magnetic field at any point which is just outward from the loop. Now magnetic field at a center. So if we want a magnetic field at the center, in this case we have to put x is equal to 0 because there is no gap. That means simply put x equals to 0, and on putting x equals to 0 we get B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi n I upon a, and it will be mu naught n I upon 2a. So student, the next topic is here magnetic field at the center of a circular current carrying loop. This topic is also important. So here we have to take a circular loop, and this loop is made by a conductor, that means wire. Take two parts of the wire, and both part of a wire is directly connected to a source by which a current is flowing in this wire. Take a point O on the center, and the radius is small a, and we have to find the magnetic field at the center. The direction of magnetic field is just perpendicular outward. So magnetic field at point O due to Biot-Savart law, it will be dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon a square. Now sin theta is 90 degree, that means dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I del l upon a square. So here we can write b is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon a square and summation of dl, because dl is the small length and this length is take place on the circumference of a circular loop, but we have to find the magnetic field due to whole loop, whole wire. That means we have to integrate, or we can say that we have to summation it. So TL will be 2 pi a, it means circumference of a whole wire. Then finally we get v is equal to mu naught I upon 2a. So this is the required magnetic field at the center of a circular loop. If it have a number of turns n, then it will be v is equal to mu naught Ni upon 2a. So student, this part is very important, because in this part we discuss some most important topics, definitions, rules, but this chapter is very long, so we have to convert this chapter into two parts, and in the next part we will discuss the rest part and some numerical problem. So revise this part very well and take care. Thank you very much.